Welcome back. Will these comics make good film and television shows? Let's find out. We got Shazam, we got Nightwolf, and we have Teegra in this episode. Let's check it out right now. Alright, thank you so much for coming back and hearing my tirades about movies, televisions, and shows and comics, and board games as well. I'm going to be putting up an unboxing for the new Star Wars card game called Unlimited, so look for that. And yeah, we're going to jump into this right now. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. If you're looking for anything that I've written, of course, I am on Amazon. All you got to do is type my name in, Frank Zanca. And also, if you're looking for any comics that I've written, right now on Late Pledge, we are fully funded through Kickstarter, but my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood called Lords of L.A., we have completed funding there, but I do have a few more pages I am trying to get out. And if you can help me out at all, then the link below in the description has a Late Pledge and Fund My Comic, which is where it's presently at. All right, so let's jump right into Shazam. And this is number 4. This is by Dan Mora with the art and Mark Waid. And check it out. Which is why I'm probably late on reviewing this, is because it took forever to Mark Waid to sign these things. So he signed the first 6 issues for me. So this follows where the captain, that's what they're calling him now, the captain, and Billy Batson are being controlled by the gods. So not only are they giving them their wisdom and strength and everything like that, no, they're giving them their bad parts of their personalities now as well. Okay, so that's the whole basis for the book. So now we have, he went to Gorilla City, and Gorilla City's tricked him into going to the moon, where he is trying to find a weapon that supposedly they stole from the gorillas, but really it's just a ruse for the gorillas to cause a war. Okay. So it's a little far-fetched. It's just FYI. It's very far-fetched. So here he's on the moon talking to this other guy, and he's like, where's that weapon that you're supposed to have? And he's like, what are you talking about, man? And he's like, oh, the gorilla sent you here. It's slander. It's lies. I'm telling ya. Why do you believe these monkeys? So then you switch to the gods, giving him, their bad personality traits. And there's Zeus, who's on the moon. Of course, it's Queen Bee. Why wouldn't Queen Bee be on the moon pulling the strings? Yeah, of course. That's the perfect place for Queen Bee to be. How many times can I say bee in one sentence? I don't know. Let's give it a shot. So meanwhile, we switch back to the apes, and now they're getting ready to go to the moon. Of course, why not? We got apes going to the moon. So yeah, so they're going. Hey, can you call Moon Uber so we can go over there? And now we get a flashback of, her with the Justice League, fighting the Justice League. I guess Zeus is making him, be romantic. And he's like, hey, baby, how you doing? How you doing? So he's about to kiss, and then Billy, in his mind, that's what he's in his mind going, oh, no, this is not going to happen. This is just not going to happen. So he says Shazam, and, it kind of ruins the mood. And he runs away because, again, he wasn't in control of himself. But here comes the monkeys. The apes are ready to fight, shoot on the moon. And then you have Freddy, and of course he's even got a poster that says, Space Monkey, don't play with your Space Monkey, bro. And then you have a dinosaur who is like an accountant and has brought a mound of paperwork because Billy saved one of his species, and when he does that, he had to fill out paperwork, and they're alien dinosaurs too. I thought that art was really good there by Dan Mora. He does a good job anyway, but too bad the script isn't really flowing with the incredible art that's in here. But anyway, now since her mood was broken, she's not happy anymore. Now she's cranky. And she's like, "Stop this battling! Stop it!" And I'm supposed to get out of here. I'm supposed to get my warp drive. And the guy's like, "I'm working on it." And she gets pissed off, so she turns him into a bee. I don't know. That's what I think happened, but I'm not sure. And they're like, "Where's that Billy kid?" And he's like, "There he is." Then he takes his helmet off, and he gets zapped. Because he was about to say Shazam, so he gets zapped, and he falls off the moon and is now flying away. Wow. Okay. Could you see that being a movie? I mean, the Shazam movie did bad enough. Now we're going to be on the moon with Queen Bee, and we're going to have, fighting gorillas that just, came from Gorilla City all the way to the moon. What? What? So, no. No. All right, so let's jump into a Nightwolf. This was a Kickstarter book. The artwork is okay in here. Not my favorite. The coloring's okay. It's very colorful. But this is issue 8 already. So this is about Snowpaw, and the guy who plays it was Nightwolf is like a jock or whatever else. He didn't know he was a werewolf. And his girlfriend got taken by a vampire, and they're going after him, but there's this whole little war going on. So they're in some kind of a field, and they're trying to, suss out the villain's lair, basically. So they go into this big field where they're attacked. And I'm confused by this because they're also werewolves, and they can change at will, but they don't. So they literally are fighting with guns and swords and stuff like that instead of churning, and I'm not understanding why. But that's what happens. So then we continue with this battle in the field. Meanwhile, his girlfriend there is like betrothed now to Victor, who's the vampire. And he's got his witches. He's got his witches stirring the cauldron, which I'm not even kidding. And they're using it to spy on what's happening with the little battle. So there's that. And she even says, "Oh, he's coming for me." Well, he doesn't say that, but he says, "Because he loves me, you'll see." What? So it's a little bit over the top, just a little bit. But again, the art's okay. I like the coloring. I think it's bright and colorful, and some of the action's okay. And then we have this really just out of the blue page where we're in this garage and a ship goes off, but we don't ever see that ship again, so don't worry about it. And now they go into the cabin because remember they're still trying to find the secret lair or whatever else for Victor, and they run into this guy that they've both fought before. Okay, so he's like, "Yeah, and I'm gonna kick your ass again too." So there, and I guess we get some kind of a flashback or whatever there, and then another girl shows up and comes on to him. He's like, his name is Ridley, I guess, or Rodney. His name is Rodney. "Hey, Rodney, I'm your babe." And and Snowpaw's like, "Who is this?" And I like the fact that she has a Scottish accent, but not the X there, but the Snowpaw has a Scottish accent. But anyway, she's like, "Oh, yeah," and he's like, "Well, yeah, she's one of my past exes." And he's like, "She's like another one." So he shoves her towards the other guy. And then they change into werewolves, both of them. So I guess his ex is a werewolf too now. And then those two change. So why didn't they change when they were battling before? I don't understand. So now they're battling as werewolf on werewolf action here. And then we go back to the cauldron, and the girl asks, this is the girlfriend for Rodney. He goes, well, don't, so does this thing have sound? Meaning the cauldron. And makes her sound really stupid. And then he says, of course, let me locate the remote to the bowling cauldron surround sound system. And the witch says, oh, you made it funny. Whatever. Oh, Robert, man. So he uses his special sword, and he hits her with a bolt of lightning. And I think she goes through the wall. She does. She goes through the wall, and he comes after her. And then, meanwhile, Snowpaw is still dealing with the other dude. And he lifts up the sword and stabs her, and then holds her and says, I'm sorry that I had to kill you with my big sword. And he does a sniffy thing for where the thing is, the hidden thing, and that's the end of it, because he's like, I'm coming for you, baby. I'm coming for you. So it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. There's some of the silly lines can be pulled back just a little bit. And I like the brightness, but at the same time, when you're dealing with werewolves and stuff like that, you kind of want a little more of a grim and gritty thing, especially if you're doing like blood and guts. I think you should actually tone that down a little bit and give it a little more of a horror feel instead of this bright and cheery feel. Like parts of it, like in the woods and stuff like that, okay, we could do bright and cheery. But again, if that was at night, maybe that would have been a little bit more scarier instead of it being during the day. Just saying. All right, so let's jump into Teegra. So this is off Fire and Ice. This is by Dynamite. And this is by Bill Willingham. And I'm surprised that he writes the regular Fire and Ice series, because the regular Fire and Ice series is really good. This is not so much. This is not so much. So the artwork on here isn't nearly as good as in the other regular series. But anyway, we start out with Teegra. And this is also based on a 1970s cartoon. So it's a little bit like Conan-ish. But, she's in the woods and she runs into a monster, but we don't really know why she's in the woods running into the monster. And she's there with her panther Shaitan, or whatever his name is. And then we go flashback to her father wants to talk to her. And look at the junk in that trunk, man. I don't know how she even walks around with the big booty. Again, the artwork is it makes it look even sillier than normal. She's like bouncing around. I don't know what's going on there. But he tells her that she's going to have to take it for the team and marry, somebody from the other kingdom. And she's just not having it. And meanwhile, her brother, I think I skipped a page here. Yeah. Meanwhile, her brother's like getting it on in like in Teegra's room with Teegra's like her maidservant or whatever. And they're promised each other that they're going to go, get away, and they're going to be together and all this stuff. And Teegra walks in and doesn't even realize that they're, like, about to make out. So she comes off very naive throughout this entire issue, which I guess she's a naive character, but not this naive. Wow. It's just, she comes off almost stupid, and she pushes him out the door. Again, look at the butt on all that. They got some big old butts going on. And she says, I'm going to run away. Don't tell anybody where I'm going. Blah, blah, blah. And her and the panther set off, where I don't think she really thinks that she's going to be way too long. I think she just wants to make a point. So, of course, she loses her stuff in quicksand, and she tells the panther to pull her out, which she probably loses half her stuff in the quicksand, but that's how she loses half her clothes. Of course. So then we switch back to the monster, And then we cut again to, this is like chapter 2, about the guy she's supposed to marry. And, you know, he's getting his horses ready. He's so excited. He's really happy. He's like, yeah, let's go. She's got some junk in that trunk. Let's go get it. And then we switch to this really odd page where the king's talking to his son. And he's like, I figured out all this battle plan. And the guy says, yeah, it looks like a bunch of ingredients. And he's like, it is. It's like a cookbook because that's the way we're going to make our army happy is by feeding them. And that's the only page that this is referenced in. It's just weird, just off the cuff. So we switch back to over here, but the story continues here, where she's now running from the monster, and the poor panther got his butt kicked for her a little bit, and we get this 2-page spread because we get this armored guy that shows up just in time to save her, and he's like, I'm coming, my majesty. And he's like, I'm gonna bet you up. And then he gets bitten. That's not so good. But she stabs the creature in the eye. And he's like, thank you for saving me. And she's like, thank you for saving me. And he's like, I'm surprised you're able to do anything with that really small blade. So she's like, and he's like, I will marry you. And he's like, well, let me see your face first. And she does, and yeah, he looks like something out of a really bad cartoon. And she's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Can you push your eye in a little bit more? I don't know. It looks like it's bugging out there a little bit. So they go back, and the father says, I know, I can see that you made your point, and I'm not going to make you marry anybody, so instead I'm going to make your brother do it. I'm going to make your brother marry that in that family instead. And the maidservant's like, oh, shit. And that's how it ends. I'm like, what? What did I just read? I'm expecting something a little bit less out of here, or out of this world situation going on. I don't know. It was just silly. It was just silly. So let's do a recap. We'll make good feel we're done. No, this is just silly. It's just silly. It's like 2 silly books together. And Nightwolf, I kind of like a lot of the ideas that are in here. Again, we have to just pull back some of the corny. And I think that if he made it a little bit more horror-based, since he does have blood and guts in there, I think it would be better. And again, we have Shazam. That's just silly. Just silly. So that's it for me. We got 3 up, 3 down here, man. Put them up and knock them down. They just, I don't know if they're even worth reading any 3 of them, but of all of them, the independent one is probably the closest one. So that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it was a little entertaining for you. And also remember to give me the thumbs up. All the likes and everything else really help with the algorithm. I am trying to grow the channel out, so if you can subscribe, please do. Click the little bell, bing, bing, bing. And if you aren't subscribed, why the hell not? It's free. Also, at the end of the video, a lot of my other videos will pop up, so go ahead and check that out as well. So if I can speak at all without slurring, that would be awesome. But also, remember, in the description below is Lords of LA, now on Fund by Comic. Again, it was fully funded. It is a vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. It is a mature book, so there is blood, sex, and fangs in it. And and also a guest appearance by Marilyn Monroe. And it jumps back and forth in time to the 1950s and contemporary, because they're immortal, so I can jump back and forth, kind of like Highlander. But I think you'll have fun with it if you check that out. And also, if you're a fan of classic monsters, Mark Spears, who does cover art for Spawn and Power Rangers, Vampirella, Spider-Man, etc., he and I are working on a deck builder area control card game featuring his classic monster art. And I think it's turning out real well. We're play testing it right now. I went to Gamma and talked to some retailers and publishers and stuff like that. I will be launching that in a couple of months, so look for that as well. And that's it for me. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Remember to check out some other videos and subscribe if you can. All right, talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.